Hey everybody, and welcome to the Growth Experience Podcast. I am your host, Chris Dye. Our hope is that by listening to this podcast, you realize that you have a gift. And by believing in your gift, you can uncover your purpose and have vision for your life. Whether you're listening in your car, at home, or watching on YouTube, thank you for tuning in, and let's go! What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 19 of the Growth Experience Podcast. This is going to be a good one. Typically, we have our guy here. I'll say his name in just a minute, but most of you probably already know who he is. But if you don't, Will Brooks is typically behind the camera or on the wall, which we've referred to him in previous episodes. The very beginning, he was in the corner. So he's now promoted to in front of the camera.
I did it.
Are you excited?
We made it.
We made it. You made it, sir. So anyways, very, very exciting episode for you today. I haven't done a whole lot of real estate episodes, and I just felt like this was a good opportunity to interview this guy he's just crushing it. And I'm super proud of him. He's been through the process, and now the results are paying off for him. So before we dive in, I do want to remind you again that this episode and this show is sponsored by Community Land Title. Community Land Title is a full-service land title and escrow settlement provider here to protect your real estate investments. When you work with their knowledgeable team, you will be guided through the process in a transparent and timely way. We got a closing today, 2 o'clock.
Yeah, we do.
Can't wait. With Community Land, and like I said, as I continue to say every single episode, they're always there for us with any questions and really bend over backwards to help our clients, and that's what it's all about for me. So yeah, shout out to Community Land, and we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. Will Brooks, can you tell us about yourself, sir?
Yeah. Am 32. I've got a wife of almost 9 years. So it'll be 9 years in August. 2 boys, Holden, who is 4, and Fisher just turned 3 yesterday.
Yesterday.
Can't believe it.
3 years old.
Time really does fly.
It does.
But I've always had an interest in real estate. Mm-hmm. Even fresh out of college, I was interested in it, but I was too afraid to jump both feet into the commission structure. Mm-hmm. So I kind of let it go, and I've worked probably every job under the sun. Yep. You
and me both, man. We have that in common.
And a lot of times 2 or 3 at a time. Mm-hmm. As well. There's probably not a time in my life recently that I can say that I've had just one job.
Yeah. It's coming.
It's coming. but yeah. So I've been, kind of just did my own thing. We got married, had kids, and wanted to support them in any way that I could. And then I finally started kind of seeing you succeed in real estate, and I thought that was pretty awesome because we had a pretty good friendship. We've known each other a long time. Over 10 years. We don't have to talk about the early years. We can get into it if we want to.
A few things I can take back, but good times either way.
But so I saw you succeed, and then it kind of got me interested in wanting to pursue getting my license, and I started the classes, and while I was still working 2 jobs, taking care of kids and the home life, so it took me a little longer.
Had to push you a little.
I almost stopped halfway through it, and you encouraged me that I've made it this far, so let's go ahead and finish it out. And so I did. And
now you've been licensed for how long now?
It'll be 2 years in October.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been licensed 2 years. The last full calendar year, I helped sell 5 homes.
Yep.
And this year already, I've already closed 6 with, no, actually, I think it's 7 now.
Yeah, 7. With
7,
yeah.
And with 4 more pending.
Yep.
And a couple more brewing. You know, we feel like you always got to have something.
You got a listing right now that you're working, you know.
Just went live yesterday.
Got a contract on it already? An offer.
Got an offer.
Yep.
Got an offer.
Yep.
A couple more showings today. So
yep. Flex on them, why don't you, man? Come on. This is your opportunity, bro.
See, you know,
you're going to be back behind the camera next week. So for right now, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel really confident, and a lot of the people that I've been working with lately is all people that I know, and that they know me, like me, trust me.
Yep.
And I'm able to speak to them at a real. I feel like there's a difference sometimes when with your sphere and with people you don't know, you can speak to them a little bit more honestly. And you develop that, I feel like, with people you don't know too. And that's just comes with experience. So the
rapport.
more experience, experience and rapport that you have, then you can talk that way. But it helps me get, you know, really confident in studying the market and seeing what's happening around them, and being able to tell them, hey, this is where I think you'll get the most traction.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I like to try to go a little bit under the market value so that we can help drive that and get a lot of traction.
Yeah, and there's some strategies there. And so I'm going to rewind us a little bit. First of all, I do want to say that in no way, shape, or form do we plan wearing white button-downs with short sleeves and jeans. He's obviously cooler because his has the whales.
Got the whales.
That's pretty awesome. I do not have any whales, but I thought that was hilarious when I walked in this morning. And it just, you know, we're in sync, man, all the time. And this guy, I appreciate him so much. Just as he said, he's one of the hardest workers I know. As he got into real estate, a lot of people will use, you know, having to provide for your family. You have a family, you got to provide for your family. They'll use the kind of, you know, 9 to 5, not 9 to 5 in your case, but obviously a W-2 job as an excuse, right? Like, oh, I can't do real estate because I have to do this. And so last year you were juggling a lot and just breaking into the business. And so those 5 transactions, you know, some of them were people you knew, some of them were people you didn't. We worked together on a couple of those, and I just kept telling you, man, because I knew, right? It's kind of cool being in this business, but also I just like to connect with people, and I knew that if you put the time in, that you would be successful. And like I said, you're reaping the rewards of that now with with people that know you, like you, trust you. That's something we say in the business, and that's always been my goal as I coach agents, is to, hey, be patient, right? Let's tap into this sphere, right? You gotta, don't be a secret agent. People that know you, like you, trust you, have to know that you're in real estate. They also want to know that you're successful, right? Because a lot of times, you know, people don't want to use or work with somebody that is a freshman, right? Just being honest.
Yep.
And that's where you lean on and leverage your relationships with, you know, obviously me, people that have been in the business, other agents within our company, and our company in and of itself, right? There's a lot of tools that we provide at EXP. And so I'm super thankful for you, man. I'm glad that you decided to take the plunge into real estate, and there's you know, a lot of stuff happening now that I'm excited about, which we'll get to a little bit later. But I do want to ask. So, you know, I know you said you were interested. Can you give just kind of a deep dive for the people that, you know, I'm going to call out our full-time friends right now, full-time real estate friends. There's a lot of people that do this thing full-time that get frustrated with people that do it part-time. And my goal for you was thinking about you and your family. It's like, man, if I could help Will make an extra $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 for his family, who am I to tell him that he shouldn't do that? Because I knew you were going to be part-time in the beginning. And so that, and our relationship, you know, professional relationship has evolved since then. But for me, instead of trying to put down the part-timers, right? Let's invest in them. Let's help people achieve their goals and what they want to do. And that was always my goal for you, is to help you however I can get to the point to where, you might be working a job, but if I can help you get to a certain point with your income and with helping people buy and sell real estate, like that was the whole goal for me, even switching to EXP.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this first. Dive in. You said saw a little bit of my success, other people's success too. Already had the interest. What kind of pushed you over the edge to finally purchase your licensing courses?
I knew that, I kind of got in really interested after the great wave of COVID. COVID kind of spiked the market. And so
2020 was a good year for me. Which is crazy. And
I think I was a part of that, but on the other side of the fence.
Client first.
Yeah. I just kind of, and that kind of played a part into it as well. Really, I've been watching you, on social media, seeing you post your success stories and that you're, doing this and that, but it was different having to, actually being your client, and working with you to help sell our old house and then help with our new home that we're in now. And so really getting to see what that process looks like at a closer level. I think that kind of helped me understand, okay, this is what I'd be getting into.
Right.
And I like talking to people. I like helping people. I'm very involved in church and probably wear too many hats. But I serve there, and I feel like I have a servant's heart. And in the real estate industry, that's, you're arguably helping people with the largest transaction that they've ever dealt with.
Right, of their lives.
Their lives, yeah. And so being able to help walk through that with them and guide them through that, it fuels me.
Yeah.
And so I think knowing that and experiencing that with you as our agent kind of helped say, I'm ready to do this thing.
Sure.
And knowing that the money that's involved, money's not everything. That's why I said first and foremost, I wanted to serve people. But
it's a byproduct,
right?
If you take care of people and you do a good job and you care about people and you serve people, they're going to tell you, or they're going to tell somebody else about you, right? And that's the whole thing with the sphere of influence that we talk about, is just do a good job.
Absolutely.
Just take care of people, right? We're in the process of expanding our client experience, which is something that I really wanted to hone in on this year. But that's what it's all about. And if you do that, you will make it in this business.
Right.
Almost 4 years licensed for me in June. Not going to lie and tell you it's been all peaches and cream. There's some roller coaster involved with being an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur if you're a real estate agent. You're a business owner if you're a real estate agent. That's something I was not good at for a while. It's how to learn how to run a business, right? I will also say that Will was not a very good client on the new construction side. He didn't let me do anything. So typically, he's flattering me, but he basically educated himself throughout that process. And typically I'll go to the house, take pictures of the footers when they're pouring all the concrete, and then you got the foundation, and then the framing and everything. I'll do every step of the process. Well, this guy was texting me every other day, like, they did the roof, and he's just blowing it up.
Listen, so we were really excited about it.
And you didn't live too far from there.
No.
So it was easy for you to just roll on through there. So, no, that's awesome. I love it. So you decide to get your license. We talked together, right? I was not currently with EXP when you decided to do that.
Yep.
As I kind of started to shift gears and think about EXP Realty, I gave you some information. What stood out to you about EXP?
Well, I just knew at that point that I was not able to contribute a lot financially in a typical brick and mortar where you've got desk fees and big broker fees and things like that. I just didn't have that available because I had to take care of my family. We still had to eat.
Yeah.
So the draw to EXP was that it was cloud-based, and there were no desk fees. There were no heavy brokerage fees. It was $85 a month.
Right.
And
for the full technology that costs
all the technology, CRM,
$700 if you were to purchase on your own.
Exactly. So just that really was the draw for me, that I could work remotely wherever I had internet access. I can get everything done, and that I was able to really be flexible with my schedule. I know, at least at that point, I knew that there was going to be a lot of office time in a big brick and mortar in the mornings making phone calls, and I couldn't do that with my full-time schedule and taking childcare and things like that. So it was really nice that I could EXP offered a solution that I could just be more flexible with my schedule and fit it in where I could.
Sure.
So yeah, that's
and that's one of the things, we're graduating, right? We're promoting ourselves and looking for office space now, and pretty sure we've found one that we're going to start using here at the end of June, beginning of July, which I'm super excited about as we expand the team. But that's the cool thing about EXP, and a lot of people don't even know that EXP does have office space, right? You can use Regis Corporation buildings around the nation,
right?
And their kind of business center, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but the lobby type area, they have some couches and tables and desks set up and a coffee machine and a printer and all this stuff, and you can go in there and use that for free.
Yep.
Right? Or you can go to Starbucks, or you can stay at home, or whatever works for you. I'm not great at working at home because we've got little kids and we know how that goes, but having the ability to kind of plug in and go wherever is great, and not have to pay that office fee initially if you don't want to, or if you are not able to, right? So yeah, absolutely, I love that. So that was kind of your initial view of EXP. What are some things that, after being a part, this is your first brokerage, after being a part of EXP, what are some things that stand out to you now?
I mean, I love that it feels, so we have our team that we work with on a weekly basis, see each other on a weekly basis, sometimes more than that. But I love that there's a greater network throughout the whole state. If you need help, or if you need help in a 2-3 hours away from here, you can, we post about it, we talk about it, and likely someone will help you out.
Right.
And from what obviously I've only been with one brokerage, but from what I've gathered is that a lot of times people aren't that willing to help if you're not directly involved with
their team. Sure.
So I love that there's that type of camaraderie here. There's also the expansive partner network. There's all types of marketing partners and signs, for signage. There's all kinds.
The tools are endless.
Yeah, they just added like 9 more last month.
Yeah.
And there's, I don't feel like you get a lot of that.
Right.
In these other situations.
Yeah, and
without paying more money.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's one of the things that I love about EXP myself is that Glenn calls this an agent-centric company, and he's going to always do what he feels like is best for the agent.
Yep.
And so he's always looking to add, evolve, subtract if need be. Whatever the agents need. And that's one of the things that I love so much is that it's a big box brokerage. This is an international brokerage, worldwide, 90,000 plus agents, right? But we get to run our business however we need to.
Yep.
It's like a franchise without a franchise. That's kind of one of the things that drew me personally is I studied franchising in college a little bit, almost franchised a business, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love, if you franchise a business and you've got all the systems and tools available to you, do it. We work with some franchises on the real estate side, and so I love that model. This was what I needed at that time when we moved to Bardstown. 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And, now it's just we've evolved and adapted and taken the things that we need to create our systems and our business.
Right.
Which is, I love that as well.
Yeah, it's it's just been really nice that they flow together really well, and then the splits, we could talk about the splits, but every situation's different for every agent. So, but it's nice that they've got the rev share, a bit, and the what is it, the stock.
Right, the stock program.
The stock program, so you can put away a portion of your commission into that and just let it do its thing, and you've just got stock. And eventually, when you cap, they'll give you the cap back in stock as well.
Yeah,
and that's awesome too.
Yeah, being an Icon agent, earning that back. When he said everybody's situation is different, that's kind of one of the things I love about EXP. Not talking about EXP, talking about what they need as an individual agent or a team or whatever situation they're looking for. But EXP, everybody's on the same deal.
Yep.
Like, that's one of the things that I really enjoyed, was that you're all on the same playing field, right? Yep. Everybody starts from this marker. And so I thought that was awesome too. And yeah, there's so many. That's the biggest kind of difference, right? I checked, I've got 5 agents under our umbrella for our team, and I checked our my rev share for next month that I've been just going to fold back into our business. But I haven't. That's passive in a sense for me, just making sure that I'm investing in the people that are under me, right? And EXP rewards those agents for that.
Yeah,
which is really cool. It affords us. I talked to a business partner that I've got, and he said, man, I'm paying my admin staff out of my rev share so that it doesn't affect his expenses.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right, on the selling side. And so that's just something that I don't focus on it necessarily, but it's a game changer, right? And that's our group, right, that we're under for our umbrellas, within our EXP organization is game changers.
Right.
And even talking about that, right? So not only do you have the training ability from agents within your market center or, your brick and mortar, we do trainings with agents all over the country.
Yep.
Every single week. And that's, something that I think is invaluable as well, getting different perspectives and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So talked about EXP. Let's talk about our team. Top shelf, baby.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Top shelf team. Brokered by EXP Realty. We have a really good foundation right now. What are some things that, so let's preface this. You started selling only. Talk about your transition into what you're doing now.
So it was, I think it was a combination of, you mentioned earlier that the business side of things hasn't always been the strongest spot, and I have some background in running a business. I used to be a part owner of the indoor Nerf arena, Dart Rush. So I've got some of that experience under my belt, and knowing that you needed that help, we kind of talked and came on as part-time director of operations, chief operations officer, whatever it's called now. So yeah, I kind of took more of so still selling, but also taking on a role of managing the operations side of things for the team, and just helping to make sure that get systems in place. We just implemented a new transaction management system that is super huge.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so just kind of doing that and, splitting my time basically there, it allowed me to kind of back off of a W-2 job that I was working to open up more time for that. And now, effective Monday, I'm going full time into that.
Yep.
And so that other W-2 job is gone, and this will be the only other W-2 job that I have right now. So I'll be able to jump full, both feet into that, and I'll still sell as needed. If people that I know want to come to me.
Right.
But outside of that, I'm going to be making sure that everybody else on the team is taken care of.
Yeah. And you've done that so well. And that's one of the things, like, when I say we have a good foundation, it really started with you and your experience with the business side, running the operations. I feel like I've, correct me if I'm wrong, done a decent job of, man, what is Will's gifting? Mm-hmm. Let's put Will in his gifting.
Yeah.
Right? And that's one of the things, as you look at yourself as a leader, if you're in a leadership position or you aspire to be, I've told them that, man, I want you guys to outsell me. Like, I want this to grow so much, because if you help others achieve what they want, you'll achieve what you want. And so that's really the ultimate goal for me, and where I feel like I'm just, that's where I want to be placed, is making sure that I'm helping facilitate the needs and the giftings of everybody within our group. And so you plugged in there seamlessly. Like, this guy has done you see the clips, and he does our podcast, he does our real estate team. We do several different things. He's helping me with the nonprofit as well. You guys have heard me talk about Her Hope Kentucky. He's going to be on the administrative side of that as well. And I couldn't ask for a better business partner to be able to do that stuff with. I don't know if I could have done it without you. So I appreciate you.
You're too kind.
Cheeks are getting a little rosy. Yeah. No, it's been my pleasure, man. And so, as we roll into Top Shelf and this team we've got set up, we've got 6 agents total.
Yep.
You mentioned, and our wheels have been spinning about, man, what do we want this to look like in the future? Mm-hmm. And between the tools that EXP provides and the systems and the business that we're building, I really think we've got something special, number one, mm-hmm. but something that can fit anybody.
Yeah.
Right? I told you, most people knock on EXP because they feel like there's no office space. All right, we're going to check that box. Most people, don't understand everything that truly understand. Maybe you've heard it, maybe you haven't, but truly understand everything that EXP provides. Mm-hmm. I tell everybody, it might not be a fit, but it's worth a look.
Right.
Because if you don't look, you'll never know. And so talk about kind of the evolution now into, what we do on the daily and where we're trying to go.
So, we're just looking at different ways that we can, again, you said earlier, EXP Glenn Sanford is focused on making this an agent-centric thing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're wanting to do something like that, but at the state level, right. Making it a little bit more attainable for us locally. So mm-hmm. we've been trying to think of a network mm-hmm. For that, and just having a spot that agents, lenders, title can come together, partner, and do stuff like that.
Work together, right?
Work together.
Yeah. And so what that boils down to is just like the agent to client relationship, like we already talked about. This is me kind of wanting to be on the forefront of what agent to agent relationships look like, mm-hmm. right? Because I mentioned it and I posted. It's been one of my more popular reels or social media posts, whatever you want to call it. When I did the episode with Raphael, mm-hmm. I said, one of the things I'm really trying to tap into is, what is your legacy? What is your legacy?
Right.
Your legacy is what you leave behind for somebody else. Well, you can't leave it if you don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
You can't leave something behind that you don't have. So how you live determines what you leave.
Right.
Right? And so we are rolling out, one of the reasons why I wanted you on the show today, we're rolling out a network that we believe and that we're pouring our time, sweat, blood, tears, finances into making sure that it succeeds, is the Legacy Real Estate Network, brokered by EXP.
Yep.
And the Legacy Real Estate Network exists to create strong relationships, because we know strong relationships create stronger legacies.
Yep.
Right? And so all of those kind of surface level things that you mentioned with our those people, title, lender, agent, whatever, they are in our network.
Yep.
Right? And so we've created those relationships. I've spoken with them at length about, hey, I want to help, leverage our relationship and build this thing out so that you can help other agents be successful.
Mm-hmm.
But not just that, right? Like, pretty soon we're going to roll out an event in July where we've got a financial coach, we've got a mental health coach, we've got a mental health psychologist, not
Yep.
a coach. He's like licensed, right?
Yep.
A health and wellness guy, and we've got a pretty rock star stud coming down to talk about how to sell a bunch of homes,
Mm-hmm.
if that's your goal, right? So it's bigger than real estate. It's relationships. It's how to pour into people. My whole goal in life right now feels like to do whatever I can to help other people be successful in what they're trying to accomplish. And that doesn't have to mean 100 homes, right? It doesn't have to. What if you sold 5 homes? What if you got your real estate license and you sold 5 homes and made an extra $20,000 or more for your family? Would that help you? Right? And we're creating this network and this system, and then you decide. You don't know if you like something or not until you taste it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You could have easily been like, man, this isn't for me.
Yep.
Right? But it was. And we just created a plan, and you believed in the vision to be able to get here today. And we didn't even necessarily, the vision evolves. We didn't necessarily have you on the docket to be our chief operations officer.
Right.
But as we've progressed and as we've started to build, I'm looking at this and saying, man, there isn't anybody else I would trust to build a business with
Mm-hmm.
than Will Brooks. And so I'm excited for everything that comes with that.
Yeah.
Anything that you want to say about our team, people, the Legacy Real Estate Network? This has kind of been our little baby for the last several months that we wanted to roll out. And anytime I have an idea, I text Will and be like, and my mind's always jumping. Like, I always try and prepare him and be like, hey, my mind's going crazy right now. And he's like, what you got? And so
Yeah, Chris is the visionary.
Yeah.
And then I'm the implementer.
Yeah.
And sometimes, let's back up a little bit. Let's talk it out. Let's
Yep.
figure this out. And
He did that to me the other day. He's like, I like what you're saying, but why? I'm like, well, I don't know. I didn't think about that. And so he makes me kind of slow down a little bit. And I talked about this last week, if you watched the episode with Kelsey in our Family Matters communication series. I said, I've got 3 people in my life right now that I kind of report to, and they make me slow my brain down a little bit, which is tough for me, but it's necessary, because in order to figure out where you're going, you have to at least have some semblance of a plan for how to get there.
Yeah.
And you guys helped me do that, so I appreciate it.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, man. Anything you would tell, aspiring agents, current real estate agents, the Legacy Real Estate Network, sorry, I got to say one more thing. It's not a team,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not you coming to partner and join our business and pay a team split or this or that, right? Top Shelf exists for some of that, and there's plans to get people out of that.
Yeah.
That's something that I believe in. Not everybody does, and that's cool. Actually, Bobby Harding, shout out to Bobby with Nest, started on his team, and when he came on one of the first few episodes and said that he feels like if you have a brokerage that supports the agent, you don't need a team. And I was like, wait a second. And that's when my wheels really started spinning.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, I think he's right, in my opinion. And so that's when I started to really kind of grind these gears down. So we're taking the version of a real estate team and truly converting it back to what a team actually is, right? It's there to help each other, hold each other accountable, lift each other up, help each other, provide resources, provide the network and the relationships. Hey, do you know an electrician? Do you know somebody that can shoot a podcast with? High Adventure Studios, they're part of our network. And so I'm always going to pull people in this direction if they want to do something with media, because we've been doing this 19 episodes in now, right? And they've been extremely reliable and a huge blessing for us. And so the team aspect of it is just come here and let's help each other build the businesses that you want to have, right? And if you need help showing homes, everybody, you talked about it, I've been in situations, hey, I need some help. Crickets, right? And everybody has to do their own thing. I get that, and there's no shade on anybody whatsoever. I can't even think of anybody off the top of my head, right? But it happens. And so this small team of 5-6 agents bends over backwards to help each other. And those are the kind of people that we want to have in the network. Yep. Right? So I will now shut up and let you kind of speak to that, and why are we doing this? Why do we feel like it's important?
Well, like you said earlier, everybody has gifts and things that they're naturally good at, and then there are things that they're not. And so the idea behind the Legacy Real Estate Network is that if you need social media, we've got some social media partners that's what they're skilled and talented in. They do that stuff. Let them do it for you. Don't stress about trying to make some mediocre social media that's not going to get you the best reach for your audience. If you need accounting help, we've got some accounting partners that we can connect you with, and they'll get you squared away. Yeah. You don't have to. I think what people sometimes forget in real estate, especially I feel like even solo agents, they feel like they're on their own. Right. And it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. You can still do your own solo agent thing, but with like you said, with team support. Yeah. So that's the idea. Right. The Legacy Real Estate Network is just being there to support each other, no matter what your individual goals are. Right. So. And
to build that legacy. I mean, that's, for me, I believe that for me in my house, there's a spiritual legacy that I want to leave my kids. But there's also, I want them to have more than I had. I want them to be, okay in life obviously I can't hand them everything, right? But there's things, and you and I have talked about this as having young kids, we want to build something that lasts, that we can leave. Yeah. Right? John Maxwell, he turned over the CEO spot for all of his companies. And I cannot remember his name, and it's going to drive me nuts. I listen to the John Maxwell podcast like every other day. I'll think about it. I'll remember probably before the episode's over. But he turned over his CEO spot, and this guy runs all 11 plus of his companies because John realizes and understands and recognizes that he wants to leave a legacy, and that means when he's gone, that this stuff that he's done and created is still impacting people. Yep. Right? This is the baby stage of the Legacy Real Estate Network, but I wholeheartedly believe that it's going to change people's lives.
Absolutely.
And, I had to truly think about, for me, I love helping people. buy and sell real estate.
Mm-hmm.
There's something special for, I'll never forget Miss E, love you. One of my favorite clients, rented a house for several years, didn't think she could get approved for a loan. Got her approved. Shout out to Ryan Baxter, Stay Why Mortgage. Got her in a home, and I talk to her regularly.
Yep.
And that is a great feeling, and I still want to do that. But at some point, especially if you believe that you're called to be a leader, I hope this doesn't upset you that I feel like I feel compelled to call out my gift. Call out your gifts, man. People are scared you don't have to be arrogant to be confident in the gift that God has given you. And so at some point for me, it was about, I want to impact more people.
Right.
How do I do that? And I really feel like this is the direction that I'm supposed to go. And I appreciate, I wouldn't be able to do it without people like you and Shannon now, who we brought on.
Mm-hmm.
Contract to close services, right? As a real estate agent, it's hard. I've worked with great ones, and that's how I can spot greatness in her. Because, when I made a Facebook post a couple weeks ago, like, what would you look for in a brokerage or a team as you're trying to hang your license there? And Linda Nally, shout out to Linda at Nest and Taylor. Some of the best admin team I've ever worked with on any job, period.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what it was. And I've had a lot of jobs as far as operational and administrative support. And so I can look at Shannon and say, she's great.
Mm-hmm.
She is great. And she's on our team. And she is, part of our network. And the agents that partner with us have access to her.
Yep.
And she and I have, all three of us have talked about that and how we want to grow that for her, and that fits her best, right? She has kids at home. She wants to be flexible in her schedule. It's nothing for her that woman's sending emails at 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday.
Yep.
It's like, we'll text her in the group and go to bed.
Take a break.
Take a break. She's about to go on vacation, her first kidless vacation with her husband. Shout out to Jeremy. I think ever is what she said. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I can probably still. And we're like, no. No.
Leave your laptop at home.
And that's, you started that process for us and helped train her. So grateful to have you be able to run that paperwork. We've got, I don't know, what is it now? 17 pending.
I think, we're up there.
Down to 17 after today. Could be 19 again.
Could be.
Hopefully. But anyway, thankful to have you understand that process and be able to run that. But that's what we're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. That's the support that, frankly, is hard to find. I mean, it really genuinely is.
Yep.
And I love it, man. That's my kryptonite. It's like getting phone calls from people on our team being like, hey, how do I roll with this and do that and do this? And it's just what I love to do.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Love helping people.
Absolutely. Cool. Anything else that you kind of want to hone in on, or?
You mentioned earlier, just kind of as like for new agents and things like that, I would just say keep your nose down, keep moving forward. Call your sphere. Mm-hmm. Talk with your sphere. Don't.
You got a text.
I did.
From somebody you reached out to in your sphere, a year ago?
Yeah. I sent out, that's a funny story anyway. I was still learning my system and sent out a text, and it went out like 6 times to everyone in my phone book.
That's awesome.
And so I upset a few people, but I had somebody reach out to me, from that a year ago, and ask me if I'm still and that kind of asked me if I'm still involved in the real estate, which kind of did 2 things for me. One, says I'm not doing enough on my on my social media to let people know, and I'm not staying well enough connected, which is a personal thing for me that I need to work on. But also that just that one thing from a year ago helps set up your pipeline.
Yep.
So contact your sphere. Don't be afraid of that.
Yep.
And just keep pushing and ask questions. I still ask questions to you every day.
Yep. And I ask questions too. I mean, I ask you stuff. It's not like I know all.
Right.
You know, and I ask people things, and that is the biggest piece. Find somebody that can help support you, especially as a new agent, even a seasoned agent. You got to have people around you.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to build and create. If you don't have a support system, it's lonely out here. It's tough, and I've been through some of those kind of phases as well. But you just got to grow through that. You know, there's always going to be hard, sticky points. Grow through it. Put your nose down, like you said, and just believe and trust in what the true purpose is, and that's to serve people, serve other people. The minute you turn, and I've done it. I have looked in the mirror sometimes and be like, man, this is kind of about me right now. And the moment I turn it around and make it about other people, it always works out.
Yep.
Always. Awesome. Well, Will, thanks, my brother, for coming on.
Absolutely.
The Growth Experience podcast on this side. Yep, I appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to have you back on as we progress this thing. I'm really excited about the direction of that it's going, and if you're an agent that wants to talk about our team, Top Shelf is kind of the traditional team setup, or if you want to just talk about the Legacy Real Estate Network, how can people get a hold of you to ask you questions?
My phone number is 502-548-8853. I can be reached by email, will@topshelfteam.us. And I'm also on Facebook. I don't remember what my exact...
It's like Will, there's always like a weird URL thing.
Just look up for the picture that's got me holding my cute kids and my smoking hot wife too. So
there you go. IG, the Will Brooks or something like that.
Yeah, IG, I think it's _Will_Brooks, something like that. Yeah. I'm on TikTok too. Yep. Just got a small following there.
Yeah, he does the dad joke thing pretty good. So
I need to get back into it.
You'll see him rocking some TikToks with some goofy stuff with his family, and it's hilarious. But yeah, we'll put all that in the description. Feel free to reach out to Will or myself at any time. And again, I do want to remind you that this episode is sponsored by Community Land Title, full-service land, title, and escrow settlement provider, here to protect your real estate investments. When you work with their knowledgeable team, you will be guided through the process in a transparent and timely way. Shout out to Matthew, Tyler, Colleen, Abby. Can't wait to see you guys today in the office. Appreciate you. And just like every episode, got to leave you with this. You have a gift. It's time to grow in it.